I really want to jump into a day in the life of an agency owner.
I'm down. Let's do it.
So it all starts with Monday.
Good old Monday.
Monday morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Monarch Social podcast, where we discuss and talk all things digital media marketing.
In hopes to give you, the viewers at home, a little bit of an insight into this digital world that we live in.
That's right. Our whole goal is to kind of peel back those layers of that digital marketing world so you guys can have a little understanding of how things work and how we do things and how we've been able to be pretty successful at what we do.
Absolutely.
So we'll start off every episode like we always do. Mr. Koa, how's your week?
This week has been a week, man. We've first off, we haven't done this in a couple weeks, so we got a lot to catch up on. But specifically this last week, I was living out of a van for 3 days
down by the river.
I wish there was a river, bro. It was like desert, no service. We had to drive like an hour to get any Wi-Fi or anything like that.
What were you doing down there?
We were filming. So one of our clients has a new adventure, new attraction, if you will, down in Zion National Park. Well, it's right next to Zion National Park. It's a Via Ferrata course. Beautiful. I'm not kidding you. One of the most beautiful things I've done.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram stories where you're posting, morning coffee, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
It was so unreal, and it was cool because we got the all access tour, and so we got to go down there. We got up at 5 a.m., got down, did the course to the last part, which is called Scary Rock, and Scary Rock is a overhang that you can look down into this canyon, and it's like an 800, maybe even 1,000. I can't remember exactly how tall it is, but it's huge.
Huge cliff.
You literally go on this course, and it's through a whole canyon, like the Narrows. I don't know if you've ever been to the Narrows, but yeah, just like that, but up at the very top.
Wow, that's cool.
Unreal. It was a great experience. But now the real work starts, where we have to take all this video footage that we got and turn it into ads, which ultimately will turn into new people coming out and doing that adventure.
That's right. And the video stuff that you did get looks great. The little that I did see.
The drone stuff, dude, we got to fly a drone out there. Like I said, we did the early morning, and so we were the only ones out there for hours and hours. I think the first tour gets there around 10. And so we had 4 or 5 hours just to ourselves out there, and it was unreal. Super nice.
Now you're back at it. You got home last night.
Super late last night.
And then we were back here super early.
Early meetings. Meetings on meetings. I love getting away. But not having internet was the most anxiety I've had. And I hate to admit that. But having everything going on while I'm not here was just a stress ball. And so the whole time I'm trying to relax, I'm also thinking
about work.
I hope this is getting done. We got this done. We have this coming up. What are we going to do for this? And not being able to communicate with anybody was a little stressful, but
yeah, it worked out. I totally get what you mean. Last week I went on that fishing trip.
Yeah.
And I was out fishing, and we had no service there.
Yep.
And it was the same thing. I kept checking my phone and being it doesn't work.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It made me realize how habitual I just pull that phone out.
Oh yeah.
To look at stuff.
And same thing, I knew we had a lot of stuff happening here at work, and not just keeping your pulse, so we'd have to drive down into the town so I could call you or text you and just be oh, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah. So, but I get it.
It's cool to break away, but not having service. Elon Musk needs to come out with that Starlink thing, dude.
Where you just have service everywhere?
Everywhere. I cannot wait. And I'm so happy that I'm in a lifetime that has that, because what we do, it's amazing. We can go anywhere, but the one hiccup is if you don't have service, then you're literally out of it.
Yeah, we can go anywhere to work. We could be out on the trails or, go on vacations all the time. We could be
in a whole city, anywhere. We could be on the other side of the world.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as long as we have internet, we can work anywhere.
Yes.
We're not tied to this office.
Yes.
So,
but once that internet's gone, then it's you really are gone.
You're in a world of hurt.
Yes. Morgan, what are we talking about on this podcast? What are we doing today?
Okay, well, we'll catch them up. We're going to catch them up with some things. So, yeah, we haven't done this for a second. We were guests on a podcast.
Yeah, Top Shelfers. Shout out. Go check him
Shout out to Wes, our boy.
Yep.
Top Shelfers. He runs a podcast. Awesome guy. He's been on our podcast, but we let a little loose on that one. It was super fun. It was a way different format than like how we do things here. And we did that on a Friday, so we did that one. And then we've had some other things just come up, and honestly, we've just been like super busy. But we're excited to be back here, and I kind of wanted to. We discussed this. We wanted to play off of our last one where we kind of just talked about us, but I really want to jump into a day in the life of an agency owner.
Okay.
You know, most of the time that we start our podcast and I ask you how your week was, and we kind of talk about things, we go into just a little bit of detail of, we're just so busy and this and that. So what does a real day in the life look like? And we can kind of take people, the listeners at home and those watching this, what is it that we actually do during the week? You know, like how do we separate our time and maybe we can jump into that.
I'm down. Let's do it.
So it all starts with Monday.
Good old Monday.
Monday morning.
It's because whenever you're running an agency, I feel like you have to, with the amount of freedom we have, you have to have at least one day, hopefully 2 days, but at least one day where you rally everybody together, you make sure everybody's on the same page, we go over what our goals are for the week, and just, you know, pretty much say what our schedule is going to be like. Like, for example, I was gone last week, so Monday morning meeting, I let everybody know I'm not going to be here.
Well, even before that, so we all get here at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. And before we have our employee meeting with everyone who works with us, we actually have our owners meeting.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to get into real specifics.
You know, how do we spend our time?
Yeah.
You
know
what I mean?
Wake up in the morning.
Not that extreme.
I'm just kidding.
But you know, just why we're here at work, what are we doing? And every Monday morning we have an owner meeting.
Yep.
And we go over everything that's like really top level, everything from accounting and budgets to if there's issues.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, just and honestly, not work related too. We just kind of say, hey, how are you feeling? Like, how's your gas tank? Like your emotional gas tank? Like, how are you mentally? Like, how was your weekend? How's everything running? Because, you know, in a partnership, when you own a company, your partnership is just as important as like a marriage.
Absolutely.
And with the different companies that I've been involved in, if that breaks down, like your company breaks down. And so
if your core crumbles, there's no chance for everything else to work.
It bleeds into so many different aspects of the company. And so we have to make sure that we're on the same page and that we're aware of everything that's going on, because during the week we do very different things.
Absolutely.
We're not just working side by side every day.
Yeah.
So,
and I love those morning meetings. Like I said, those morning meetings for our owners meeting is great, because again, it's one of those things where we look at what's going to happen future wise. We look at big picture things versus what's happening this week. We talk about all of our employees, make sure everybody's doing their thing, and it's just good. It's good to be in the loop of what's going on.
For sure. And then right after that meeting, we head on over to our big room, and all our guys are there, and ladies and gals, but we have our employee meeting. We have our fulfillment meeting, if you will, and we pull up all of our customers. Yep. And we go through all of our clients line item by line item.
I know we've dropped our management software. Monday is what we use.
Yeah, we use Monday, the software, on Monday.
Monday on Mondays.
Mondays on Mondays.
And so it's we literally go through each and every single task that is on there, see where we're at,
who needs help, assigning due dates, and really just having such a strong pulse on our clients and like exactly where they're at in the process, whether it's building websites or building out ads or SEO or video work. We have to make sure that we're on top of it, we're hitting deadlines, and that we're communicating with them, and we run through all of that.
Yeah, I would say the biggest things for Monday would be deadlines. We'll make sure we're doing deadlines, but also the help. If somebody's stuck on something, it's so nice to have all of us together to kind of brainstorm what our solution could be for this problem and figure out why they're stuck.
Yeah, I love that. And then a part of that meeting is we go over everything that has to happen with our company, Monarch Social. We treat Monarch Social much like a client. There's things that happen all the time inside Monarch where if we need changes to our website, if we have podcast stuff that we have to do, if we have shoots or events, whatever it is, we treat our own company just like we would one of our clients. It has its own section in our Software Monday, and it has subtasks, and we assign people things to do and what they need to do. And that's another big thing that we do.
Absolutely. I think treating your own company, this is to anybody that's doing an agency, treating your own agency like a client is a huge thing you need to do.
It's helped us a ton when we kind of like switched that mindset just to being like, oh, here's all this other things that need to get done. But we really switched it to, oh, like Monarch's a client. Like we're going to treat us just like we would anyone else. Because if you don't, it's so easy to let those things slide.
Yeah.
Because we're not important, if you will. It's like, oh, well, the client comes first. And then all of a sudden we haven't done anything. We haven't worked on anything for our own business. So we just treat them just like we treat us just like a client. We schedule it, we plan it, we assign it to people.
Think of new ideas. Like it's nice to have multiple people and having, a full team, because you have all these eyes on what all of our clients are doing, and then you can take all that information as well and all the things we've learned from doing stuff with our accounts and utilize that knowledge for ourselves.
Exactly.
And so, like I said, always don't let your internal company suffer and get pushed to the side because you have clients.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that meeting, so that's the company meeting, and then what do?
We break off into departments.
So we have department meetings. So right after that meeting, Makoa meets with the creative department, our website design meets with the web and SEO team, I go meet with sales. And then we have our own meetings, and those run however long. And it's crazy because I don't even know what you guys talk about in sales. I have no idea what you guys do. I've never attended a creative meeting. So
exactly, because it's like I said, it's cool how we start from the top, branch our way out. Because in those department meetings, that's when you go into the really nitty gritty stuff,
like the very specific stuff.
Yes, where it's like, okay, I saw that we were doing this last week. Let's see if we switch this around and can get a better result. Let's test this out. How are we doing over here? What's your forecast for this? Yeah, I think our department meetings are a lot like accountability meetings, and like we really get into it. Like, hey, how did last week go? This is what like you said, this is what you did. This is what we're going to do this week. What do you specifically need help on? We just get really into the nit, I was going to say, it's good to have those one-on-ones.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, you take each department and then you break it off into each employee and you have a one-on-one with each of them, because having that one-on-one time is good for the employee as well as for me, because then I have an idea of what this person's working on.
Exactly. And then from there, we just jump into our day. And sometimes there's meetings, sometimes there's just work to get done, and we just jump into our day. So that brings us to Tuesday through Thursday, Koa. What does a typical day look like as an agency owner doing fulfillment? Like you don't have to go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but like Tuesday through Thursday, what's like a typical day for you? How does that look?
Well, in all reality, it's crazy because it changes a lot.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to have those first meetings, because that sets the tone for the rest of the week.
For example, this week was completely different than last week.
I was gone for 4 days.
Yeah. You were filming.
Yes, literally. I was out on work. And it's not like we do that every single week. So it's like...
But a typical in-office week. What does that look like?
Let's start with like the start of the month type of a thing, where we're getting everybody up and going for the new month. Because in the agency world, it's pretty much judged off of months. Once that month's done, then we switch over to a different campaign and we start a new theme for this next following month.
We put them in a different marketing funnel. So tell us what that looks like.
So first and foremost, I always start with kind of like game planning. And this, I hate to say that it's like on the first of the month, because in all reality, we start a little bit before. So it's like we're ready for the first of the month to launch everything. So I'll say first thing we do is we game plan what our next strategy is going to be, right?
Yeah, and we can game plan that around product launches or holidays or, what are we going to be promoting this next month for this client?
Preparation. And a big part of preparation is reading data and going over monthly reports, seeing what has worked, what hasn't worked, and then making those adjustments to hopefully get us to better results than we had the week prior.
Yep.
So I always start off with preparation, where literally go through everything, see how everything's going, and then kind of brainstorm some ideas of what we're going to do for this next push. And that would be, that's the very first thing that we do. After that is when we jump into Monday and we pick tasks that are going to allow us to accomplish this goal.
Yep.
So if we need to have new creative made, we already have our blueprint, right? During that brainstorming session, we create this blueprint of what we want to do, and then we fine tune and do the tasks. So it's like, okay, we need new content, put that in Monday. We need this content to be put into an ad, put that in Monday. And so if you look at our Mondays, it's monster lists at the beginning of the month. And again, I don't want to say at the beginning of the month because we do this before. We do this like 2 weeks before the next month.
To get ready for that launch.
Yes, because on the 1st is deadline. That's deadline launch date.
And monthly reports due.
And monthly reports are due. And so it's like, okay, we look at all the data, get in preparation, and then game plan, and then launch on the 1st. Now, as far as doing those tasks, that's when we break it out and we say, okay, this task is top priority. Obviously, going out and getting the content is going to be first. Once we get this content, we then put it into graphics, put it into ads. Once it's at ads, it's ready, and we then put it into actual Facebook and Google. And so it's like, honestly, dude, it's like one of those things where there's just layers on layers on layers, and the better you have each one of these layers down, the easier these bottom tasks become.
For sure. And so typically during a week for you, it's very safe to say you're doing everything from creating Facebook ads, creating different ad sets and campaigns. You're
there's so much
reading data. You're editing videos.
Seriously,
you're making reports.
Yes,
you're on meetings. You're in meetings with clients a lot,
all the time. But that's why we have a whole team to be able to fulfill while we take a step away to do new client stuff. You have to make sure systematize, right? The way we have everything is so systematized that we create ads that don't even get published for weeks.
Yeah.
Like that graphic is ready to go so that when it's actually launch day, I can then put it into Facebook and I don't have to go through and start from the top, pick out my photo, then decide, okay, it even goes further than that. What's my objective? Then pick out a photo, then edit that photo up, then put it into an ad, then create all my captions and then launch, right?
Yeah.
You start at the top and that's the only way you can get ahead is you have to start and batch everything up. And so again, when I say everything fluctuates, it fluctuates all the time, like it heavily, but I can always know I need to have my objective done and I need to have my graphics getting ready to go. And then we just work our way down.
And I think it's really important that, we reiterate too that we have a lot of things done way before we're even about ready to make them. For example, like shout out to Alice who does our content posting, but she'll have weeks of posts ready and teed up, ready to get posted before, they don't go out for weeks, but she has them all done. The captions, the photos,
we try
graphics.
To have a whole month worth of posting done
per client
before the month is even started.
Yeah, because we're never playing catch up.
Yeah.
Like when you hire an agency and they say, hey, will you post for us? And they post for you on a Tuesday. It's not like they made it Tuesday morning or Monday night.
Yeah.
They've had it done for a while.
Yes. And the goal is to get ahead. Like I said, if you're living on that line of like, similar to living paycheck to paycheck, where you're living on deadline to deadline, that's the worst life to live in. Because what happens if something's wrong? What happens if something's messed up? All of a sudden that pushes everything back.
Yeah, we had some crazy stuff happen last week with our Facebook accounts and our ad accounts. And if we weren't on top of it,
then we would be struggling. And it would have been, we would have had to send out a bunch of stuff to be like, hey, this is happening. But because we had everything already set up, we didn't even have to touch it. We just had to talk with support, get everything figured out, and let everything continue to run as is.
Yep, we didn't even touch it.
And it's beautiful. That's a testament to the fact that getting ahead is...
We have a great process.
Always the goal. Always get ahead if you're running an agency. I mean, don't ever live deadline to deadline.
My Tuesday through Thursday, excuse me.
I feel bad because I wasn't like explaining Tuesday to Thursday. It's because...
I'm just asking, like, what does a typical day look like for you as an owner, but also who does fulfillment,
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, everything we said was pretty much fulfillment. Owner, it changes just because when things
You meet
come
with
up.
employees, you meet with me, we talk.
And I would say on the owner side, in fulfillment department, as an owner, it really tethers with what you guys are doing
For sure.
in sales. That's how my day varies. That's why it's hard. I live off my schedule. Like I will schedule out hours and hours for specific things because I know those tasks are going to take time. but I live off that schedule, and that's the only way I can manage
your day-to-day is so different than my day-to-day. Mine can be pretty, I can kind of count on what I'm doing during the week. With you, like I said, since you're over so many different things, whether it's like creating Facebook ads or shooting video or editing video or doing reports or having meetings, your week to week can be very different as a fulfillment guy. So if you own an agency or you're thinking about owning an agency, just know that it can change, because one week you're maybe focused on Google and Facebook ads, and the next week you're focused on shooting video and getting content and then having to edit up all that stuff.
And then throw in some new accounts that you have to meet with and have all new setups. As soon as you add a new account, all of a sudden now you have to start from the ground up again and be like, okay, I need to dissect what this company actually does,
what their messaging is, what their branding, what their voice
what
is.
we're going to do, create strategies.
Yeah.
And there's so much, but the best way to manage it, and this is from doing this for 5-7 years now, is live off of a schedule. The best way you can not like
lose
die
your
because
mind
of how stressful you are.
And get overwhelmed.
Yes, I get overwhelmed all the time still. But when I break it out and I put it all on Monday, and then I take that Monday task and schedule time in my calendar, it makes it manageable.
For sure. And then on mine, Tuesday through Thursday.
Yeah, sales. Let me know a little bit about this sales, because this is a little foreign to me.
Well, it's even more than sales, because I have, like, you're so busy with fulfillment, you know, that I have a little bit more of that creative play, if you will, that I can do certain things that are just not sales. Okay, but we'll talk about sales first. So Monday through Thursday, there's networking meetings, there's networking groups, and I can post in those groups and I can respond to questions. I can do that. I get referred all the time with people. So I'm either messaging and emailing or on the phone with a lot of different people, kind of telling them who we are, what we do, getting to know their business, seeing if we're a good fit. I help Wes. I stay on top of our sales guy.
Well, dude, I was even going to say, just that alone, replying and putting yourself out there like that is a task within itself.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that if I would not be able to do, I would not be able to add that to what I'm doing. And that's why it's amazing having a duo like we do, because it's like we're a superhuman.
Exactly. Well, yeah, our team really is the thing that makes us so successful, is because we couldn't do it at this scale at all. You know, if we had a couple clients, it'd be one thing, but with how many clients we have and how many projects we have going on, there's no way I could do what you're doing, and there's no way you could probably do what I'm doing.
No.
And we just complement each other so well with that. And so on top of that, when I do meet with the people that are interested, then I make proposals specific for them, and I send proposals, and then I'm meeting with them like, oh, like this, let's change this in the proposal, or actually, what about this? And there's some negotiation that goes into that.
We'll do, and we even do like, I don't know if it's it's a pitch deck. Like when we go into those meetings and we have those slideshows all set up.
Yeah, so sometimes with big clients, you can't just send a proposal.
A little proposal, say, hey,
here, sign
give
up.
me $10,000 and we'll do this.
Yeah, so for bigger clients, I create pitch decks. And a pitch deck is basically, let's say we're going to do Facebook ads, Google, SEO, content, video work, whatever it is. It's a big project. I make a huge presentation that kind of walks them through everything that we're offering and what that price looks like, what are the dates, like how does that roll out, what does the first month look like, what does the second month look like, and it's all branded. And so yeah, on top of proposals, if we do get bigger clients, I make a pitch deck. Once they understand the pitch deck and they have that, then they come back and say, okay, put this in a proposal. Then I have to take all of that, go put it in a proposal, custom for them, and then send that off, wait for them to say, oh wait, this wasn't in there, or hey, what about this, or hey, this question came up. Or
it can go back and forth like 3, 4, 5 times even.
Oh, there is a client right now, potential client, like they're coming on. I shouldn't say potential, they're coming on, but we've been working for 2 months
to get these guys. Yes.
Yeah, we're going on 2 months just back and forth of the real nitty gritty. Typically it's not like that. Typically it's pretty black and white, like, hey, we're gonna do this is the timeline, this is how much it is. With these guys, it's been kind of I don't know, just a roller coaster of okay, what about this, and then a new question comes out, and then okay, well, what about this launch date, then how does that affect everything, and hey, what about this payment plan, you know, rather than paying all up front, can we do XYZ? And I'm like, okay. And so I really have to go through those. And so a lot of my days are honestly responding to people online who I get tagged in. I get tagged in Facebook and Instagram things all the time, and people are reaching out all the time. And then I like to check on my sales guy. So I check on Wes and I say, hey, how is your meetings going? Because I have him doing the same exact thing in that regard.
Yes.
And so I check with him, talk with him. We go over rebuttals that he's getting. We go over, kind of like what people.
And this is in your meeting?
No, this is like Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
Because he'll be in networking meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And, he'll talk about us and pitch us. And then sometimes he gets the rebuttals of, oh, we don't have the money, or, oh, what about this? And so I help him through those. I help him stay on top of the active proposals that he has out right now. Mm-hmm. And then the last step to that Monday through Thursday is if we do get a client that comes on, then it triggers me to introduce them to fulfillment, where we send a welcome email, a client intake form, and we
schedule our introduction meetings.
So we basically onboard a client. And so that's all the sales stuff. On top of that, I get to like dream a little bit. And what I mean by that is I get to be the vision pusher, where we sponsor content creators, we sponsor some athletes, I'm creating events. I'm scheduling a big thing to go to Idaho and have a big networking event up there that we're going to host. And so I get to kind of be that entrepreneur of pushing the business forward in creative ways, making our shirts, dealing with swag, and
And I think those are such important things that you have to do in a business to keep everything going forward, is all the things that you're doing. Because I don't have time to do those things because we're focused on the fulfillment. But if we're only focused on fulfillment, then we get stagnant.
And so my week consists of all of that. Like I said, like everything from sales, but also that visionary, pushing the envelope. Where what are some of these creative things that we can do to get new clients in, and how to drum up business.
And having that mindset of how are we going to continue to get new clients. That's the best.
Yeah, I like to look at, a big part of what I do and like what I take on myself is, what can we do that other agencies aren't doing? I see other agencies that are just kind of stagnant, that run ads themselves, or network, or, whatever, SEO, the whole 9 yards. But I try to look at it from a fresh perspective and say, what are some cool stuff that we can do? What, like events, like the swag, like
or
the
sponsorships.
sponsorships.
I love these sponsors. You never see, unless it's like a Facebook or some huge company sponsoring athletes.
We've sponsored 2 athletes, and we've sponsored 2 content creators, other podcasts, and they shout us out. It's part of our deal that they put us on their Facebook, their Instagram. But I work out through all those things, and
it's a unique way to market us.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what my week is. Tuesday through Thursday is kind of those things. Oh, the other big thing that I do during those days is I kind of am over the finance, accounting. So I kind of do a lot of our accounting. We have a bookkeeper and a guy that does our taxes and stuff like that. But the day-to-day stuff, the accounting, making sure like where our money is and who needs to pay, who do we need to send invoices to.
You're in charge of people paying. I love that. It's a great way to do it, because then that allows my side of everything to just be focused on accounts.
And that brings us to our Fridays. What do we do on Fridays, Koa?
What we're doing right now.
We do our podcast on Friday. So Friday is actually like a really fun day for us. It's kind of there are Fridays that we do have to work. I think it was last week or the week before that, you were working all Friday long. It was one of the reasons that we couldn't even do the podcast. But things like that do come up. But mostly Fridays are kind of like a breath of fresh air for us, where we can focus on Monarch, do our podcast, have fun, hang out, and then just do little tasks that need to get done. Sometimes we have meetings with clients on Fridays, but most of the time we're working on Monarch.
Yeah, Friday is our like Monarch day, and again, it's super important to put focus into your company. That's a pillar that every marketing, not even marketing, every company should do.
Yeah, so it was just interesting kind of talking about this, just the day in the life of an agency owner. The big takeaway is it's different every single day. It's not a set schedule. There's so many different moving parts, whether you're creating content and creating ads,
making websites, doing SEO stuff, having client meetings, doing reports, having a big thing we do is these bi-weekly meetings with our accounts.
Yeah, we do. So we meet every 2 weeks with every one of our accounts in either a Zoom call or in person. So we're doing meetings during the week and just the day-to-day business stuff. But running an agency, there's a lot that goes into it, especially if you have multiple people in your agency. If you're a single agent, a solo agencypreneur, I should say, right? Like a solo agency guy.
One-man shop.
Yeah. There's probably a lot less than that you're doing, and you're managing your time. I mean, there's still a lot of work that goes into it, but once you come to, and you have bigger clients and staff and,
multiple
locations.
Multiple accounts too. Like that's the big thing is when you have multiple accounts, it gets crazy.
Well, and the bigger projects that you're doing for those accounts get crazy.
Yeah.
And it takes teams. There's not, I mean, when we get a bigger client, and it takes a team to do that. But anyways, it was really interesting to me just to kind of say, hey, like, what is a day in the life? Like, what does a normal, typical week look like for us as agency owners?
Yeah.
So
it was interesting. Like I said, you nailed it right on the head. It changes all the time. And so my number one bit of advice would be have a scheduler so you can make sure no tasks slip through the cracks.
You have to schedule everything.
And then, yes, I use Google Calendar religiously. And that is exactly, like, that's what keeps me sane.
I think for me, what I would say is, like, my advice is there's a book called The E-Myth. I recommend it to a lot of entrepreneurs out there. If you don't know The E-Myth, one of the things it talks about is there's 3 different types of people. Typically in a business, you have the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And if we take our company, for example, the technician is the person doing the work. The manager is the department head, the person who makes the schedule and does quality control and teaches and trains, and they're the manager. And then you have the entrepreneur who actually pushes that vision forward and how to push the envelope in new ways and new directions. What I would say is, when you get busy at work, when you get busy in the trenches of dealing with clients and scheduling and meetings and all that stuff, it is so easy to lose your edge of being the entrepreneur. And like I said, it works great for us because I have that time to be an entrepreneur. I have that time to dream. What do we need? What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? And so just like the E-Myth says, don't lose sight of being the entrepreneur, like pushing the envelope, coming up with new ideas, new services, new whatever, having fun with it and creating whatever the hell you want to create because you're an entrepreneur and that's what got you there in the first place.
Exactly. And I think it's a beautiful combo. You said it very well.
Yeah. So schedule your shit and be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm dealing with that. All right, Co, where can they find this? When are we live?
This is my moment.
This is your moment to shine.
All right, guys.
You haven't done this for a second.
I know. I got to remember. Okay. Okay. All right. You guys can find this podcast on all the major streaming networks, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The video is going to be on YouTube at Monarch Social Brand. And then give us a follow on all of our socials.
Yeah, and one of the things I was going to say is always feel free to reach out. If you guys have a question about owning an agency, a question about marketing or digital marketing, feel free to reach out on our socials. People have been doing that lately, and I've been loving responding to them. So, All right, guys, till next time. Next Friday.
Let's go.
This will drop on Tuesday. So.
Oh, yeah, new episode's always Tuesdays.
New episode's always Tuesday. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Till next time.